The plate shattered. Not loudly, just a sharp crack against hardwood floor, roasted lamb and vegetables scattering across polished oak. 7:18 p.m. Thursday evening, March 1978. The restaurant was packed, voices rising and falling in waves, laughter from the bar area, the clink of silverware on china, soft piano music drifting from the corner where an older man played standards. Marcus Webb bent down to clean it up. Black vest, crisp white shirt, burgundy tie. 15 years waiting tables at the finest steakhouse in Chicago. He'd cleaned up 1,000 broken plates. But as he knelt beside table 9, gathering pieces of shattered porcelain, he heard it. 2 men, window booth. Soft lighting, low voices, speaking Czech, not whispering, not trying to hide, just conversational, natural, assuming privacy. Marcus had grown up in Prague, fled with his parents in 1968 when Soviet tanks rolled in. He'd been 12 years old. He spoke Czech like a native, and he understood every single word these men were saying. And in those 40 seconds kneeling beside their table, everything changed. Then he heard it clearly. The blueprints will be copied Friday night. Building 7, 3rd floor. Security leaves at 11. Marcus's hands trembled, just for a fraction of a second. Then he kept gathering porcelain fragments. Stay calm. Stay professional. Don't react. But inside, his heart was racing, because Americans don't discuss copying blueprints at 11 at night. Engineers don't mention Building 7, 3rd floor. And they definitely don't discuss timing security patrols. These men were not businessmen. They were something else entirely. Before we dive into this incredible story, subscribe to the channel. Tell me what city you're watching from. This is a fictional narrative. The characters and events are dramatized for educational purposes. Now grab your favorite drink, settle into a comfortable spot and pay attention. Stay alert. Another story of the invisible war begins now. Are you ready? Let's go. I am Victor Hale. And now, come to my world. Marcus Webb, 35 years old, head waiter at the Gibson House, premier steakhouse on North Michigan Avenue, the Magnificent Mile, the kind of establishment where Chicago's elite gathered, politicians, corporate executives, visiting dignitaries, old money and new money mixing over dry-aged ribeyes and bottles of wine that cost more than Marcus made in a week. The Gibson House occupied a converted mansion from the 1890s, 3 dining rooms, oak paneling, leather booths, crystal chandeliers. White tablecloths changed between every seating. Marcus had worked there since 1971, 7 years. Started as a busboy. His English was terrible then, heavy accent, limited vocabulary. But he worked harder than anyone. Never complained. Never late. The owners, the Gibson family, noticed. Promoted him to waiter. Then senior waiter. Then head waiter. Now he managed the main dining room. Trained new staff. Handled VIP reservations. His shifts were Wednesday through Sunday. 5 p.m. to closing. Usually midnight. Sometimes later for private parties. The money was excellent. Tips from wealthy clientele. Regular customers who requested him specifically. Enough to support himself and send money back to relatives still in Czechoslovakia. Marcus lived in a small apartment in Rogers Park, 1 bedroom. Clean. Sparse. He lived simply. Saved most of what he earned. He'd never married. A few dates over the years. Nothing serious. Work consumed his life. The restaurant was his home. His colleagues were his family. He was good at what he did. Meticulous. Observant. Professional. He remembered every regular's preferences, knew their favorite tables, their usual orders, their anniversaries and business deals. And he noticed things. Details others missed. Who was celebrating? Who was arguing quietly? Who seemed nervous? Who paid too much attention to their surroundings? 15 years of watching people teach you to read signals, which is why Table 9 had caught his attention before the plate even broke. 2 men, both 40s, both wearing suits. 1 grey, 1 navy blue. Well-tailored, conservative, nothing flashy. They'd arrived separately. The first man came at 6:45 p.m., requested a window booth. Ordered a drink. Bourbon on the rocks. The second arrived at 7 p.m., walked directly to the table. Sat down, ordered vodka martini. Marcus had seated the first man. Took the second man's drink order. Standard service. But something felt off. The way they greeted each other. Not like old friends. Not like business associates meeting for the first time. Something in between. Rehearsed casualness. They ordered dinner. Prime rib. Medium rare. Baked potatoes. House salad. Expensive but not ostentatious. Marcus served them professionally. Brought their drinks. Their salads. Their entrees. They spoke in English. Quiet conversation. Leaning close across the table. Nothing unusual for a business dinner. Marcus had other tables. Other guests. A party of 6 celebrating a retirement. A couple on what looked like a first date. 2 lawyers arguing over contracts. The dining room was busy. Thursday night. Always busy. Then the plate broke. Marcus was delivering entrees to table 12 when he heard the crash. Turned, saw broken porcelain on the floor beside table 9. One of the men had been cutting his prime rib. Knife slipped, caught the edge of the plate. Sent it tumbling. "I'm so sorry," the man said. Accented English. Apologetic smile. "No problem at all, sir. I'll bring you a fresh plate immediately." Marcus returned to the kitchen, got a new plate. Transferred the prime rib from the broken pieces still on the table. "There you are, sir. Enjoy." "Thank you. My apologies again." "Not necessary." Began picking up the shattered porcelain, and that's when he heard them speaking Czech. They'd switched languages, assuming privacy. Assuming the waiter wouldn't understand. "Friday is still confirmed?" First man, deeper voice. Slight Prague accent. "Yes, 11:15. The guard rotation happens at 11. Building will be clear." Second man, higher voice, Brno accent. "And the blueprints are in the secure room. 3rd floor, northeast corner. Filing cabinet marked Project Atlas. Access. We have the key codes. A contact provided them yesterday." "Good. The microfilm camera is ready? Small enough to conceal. We can photograph everything in under an hour. Moscow wants the propulsion specifications especially. The turbine designs." Marcus's blood went cold. He kept picking up porcelain, hand steady, face neutral. Professional waiter cleaning up a mess, but his mind was screaming. Blueprints, secure room, microfilm camera. Moscow, turbine designs. This wasn't business discussion. This was espionage. Industrial espionage, maybe worse. Marcus finished cleaning. Stood, smiled. "All taken care of. Can I bring you gentlemen anything else?" "We're fine." Steady pace, calm exterior. But inside he was 12 years old again, watching Soviet tanks roll through Prague, watching soldiers in the streets, watching his parents pack frantically in the middle of the night, watching freedom disappear. He'd escaped Czechoslovakia with his family, fled to Austria, then Germany, finally America, the land of freedom. The country that took them in when they had nothing. And now, 20 years later, he was listening to Czech-speaking men planning to steal American technology from Moscow. Marcus went to the service station, stood there for a moment, hands shaking slightly. What do you do? What would you do in that moment? Ignore it? Convince yourself you misunderstood? Mind your own business? Or act? Marcus watched the 2 men. They finished their meal, ordered coffee, dessert. No hurry, relaxed conversation. At 8:45 p.m. they requested the check. Marcus brought it. They paid cash, generous tip, 25%. Thanked him, left. Marcus watched them walk out the front entrance, disappearing into Chicago's night. He cleared their table, gathered plates. Silverware, glasses. On the table, under where the water glass had been, a business card. Plain white, no name, just a phone number, handwritten. One of them had left it. Deliberately? Accidentally? Marcus pocketed it, continued his shift, but his mind was made up. He knew what he had to do. Marcus finished his shift at 11:30 p.m., changed out of his uniform, left through the staff entrance, walked to the L station, took the Red Line north to Rogers Park, arrived at his apartment just after midnight, didn't sleep, sat at his small kitchen table, the business card in front of him, thinking. Maybe he'd misunderstood. Maybe his Czech was rustier than he thought. Maybe it was something innocent, but he knew better. Moscow wants the propulsion specifications. That sentence, crystal clear. unambiguous. Marcus didn't work Fridays. His day off, he went to the public library, found a phone book, looked up the FBI. There were 2 offices in Chicago, downtown. He chose the main office, made the call from a payphone outside the library. Federal Bureau of Investigation, Chicago field office. Marcus's accent got thicker when he was nervous. It got thicker now. I need to report something. Something I heard. I think maybe is important. What kind of something, sir? 2 men. At restaurant where I work. They spoke Czech. They discussed stealing blueprints. For Moscow. Pause. Please hold. Click. Silence. Marcus almost hung up. Then another voice. Female. Calm. Professional. This is Special Agent Catherine Reynolds. You overheard a conversation in Czech? Yes. I am a waiter. They were at my table. They spoke Czech, thinking nobody understands. But I am from Czechoslovakia. I understand everything. What exactly did they say? Marcus repeated it, word for word, every detail he remembered. Another pause, longer this time. What's your name, sir? Mr. Webb, can you come to our office? Today, if possible. This could be very important. When? Now would be best. Do you know where we're located? Agent Reynolds gave him the address. Federal Building, downtown. Marcus took the L. Arrived 40 minutes later. Security at the entrance. He gave his name. They made a call. Escorted him upstairs. Agent Reynolds met him. Late 30s. Professional suit. Sharp eyes. Firm handshake. They went to an interview room. Small, plain. Table and chairs. Reynolds pulled out a recording device. Do you mind if I record this? No. Tell me everything. From the beginning, Marcus did. The 2 men, how they arrived separately. The broken plate, the conversation. Every word he could remember. Reynolds took notes. Asked questions, descriptions. Accents, behavior, clothing. Did they pay with credit card? No. Cash. Did you see their car? No. They left on foot. You said one left a business card? Marcus pulled it from his pocket. Reynolds examined it. Just a phone number, no name. She looked at Marcus. May I keep this? Reynolds made a note. You mentioned they talked about Building 7. Did they say where? No, just Building 7. 3rd floor. Security leaves at 11. And Project Atlas. Turbine designs. Propulsion specifications. Exactly those words. Reynolds leaned back. Mr. Webb, what you overheard could be related to an active investigation. I can't tell you details. But this is potentially very significant. What I should do? Go back to work. Act normal. If these men return, note everything. But don't change your behavior. Don't indicate you understand Czech. Don't engage beyond normal service. They will come back, but if they felt safe having that conversation once in your restaurant, they might use it again. Reynolds handed Marcus her card. My direct number. If you see them again, call immediately, day or night. Am I in danger? They have no reason to suspect you understood them. As long as that stays true, you're safe. But safe was relative. He'd thought he was safe in Prague in 1968 too. He went home, tried to rest, couldn't. Saturday night, Marcus worked his shift. The restaurant was packed, weekend crowd. He worked his section. Watched every guest, every new arrival, looking for the 2 men. They didn't come. Sunday, same thing, full dining room. No sign of them. Monday, Wednesday. Marcus started to wonder if they'd been a one-time occurrence. Random meeting, moved on. Thursday night, 1 week exactly after the broken plate, Marcus was seating a party of 4 at table 14. 8 o'clock. Busy evening, 2 men walked in, not the same 2. Different faces, but similar age, similar clothing, similar bearing. They requested a window booth. Marcus's pulse quickened. He approached the hostess. I'll seat them. Marcus grabbed menus, led them to table 9. The same table as last week. Can I start you with drinks? First man, American accent, vodka martini. Dry. Second man, slight accent, Eastern European. Marcus brought their drinks. Took their dinner order, prime rib. Both of them, medium rare. Same as last week. Pattern. Deliberate. repeated. Marcus served them, watched them. They spoke English. Quiet conversation. He couldn't hear details. After they left, Marcus called Agent Reynolds from the restaurant office. 2 different men. Similar profile. Same table, same drinks, same order. Description. Marcus provided every detail. Ages, heights, hair color, clothing. Anything distinctive. Good. Very good. Keep watching. This is pattern, yes? Yes, Mr. Webb. This is definitely a pattern. Over the next month, Marcus counted 8 different pairs of men, all similar profile, all requesting window booths, all ordering similar drinks, all speaking quietly, all paying cash. Not every night, but regularly. Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. Marcus documented everything. Small notebook, hidden in his locker at work. Dates, times, descriptions, behavior patterns. He reported to Reynolds weekly. Phone calls. Occasional meetings at a diner far from the restaurant. Reynolds thanked him, told him to continue, said the information was valuable, but Marcus was getting nervous. 8 pairs, 16 different faces. This wasn't random business dinners. This was organized, coordinated, professional. The Gibson house was being used as a meeting point, a safe location, public enough to seem innocent, upscale enough that well-dressed men didn't stand out. Marcus started noticing more details. The men always arrived separately, never together. Staggered timing, 5 to 15 minutes apart. They never stayed long, 90 minutes maximum. Efficient, purposeful. They always requested the same section. Window booths, good visibility of the street, privacy from other diners, and they always paid cash. No credit cards, no paper trail. Marcus mentioned this during a meeting with Reynolds at the diner. They're using counter-surveillance techniques, Reynolds said. These are trained operatives, not amateurs. What they are doing? We believe your restaurant is a regular meeting point. Intelligence officers meeting their contacts, coordinating operations, exchanging information. Why Gibson House? High-end enough that professionals in suits blend in, busy enough that conversations get lost in ambient noise, cash-only transactions, and staff who don't speak Czech or Russian. Marcus felt cold. They chose this place because it's safe for them. Yes, and they've probably been using it for months, maybe longer. What happens now? We're comparing your descriptions to known operatives. Diplomatic lists, surveillance photos, building the network. Reynolds leaned forward. Mr. Webb, sometimes it's more valuable to watch than to arrest. We learn map the network, identify everyone involved. Then we dismantle it all at once. But he didn't like it. Every week they met, every conversation they had was potentially more American secrets being stolen. But he wasn't FBI. He was a waiter. He had to trust them. 2 months after the broken plate, May 1978, Marcus worked his Thursday shift. The pattern was so predictable now he could almost set his watch by it. 8 o'clock, 2 men would arrive. One man he'd seen 3 times before. One new face. They were seated at table 11, window booth, Marcus's section. He approached. Good evening, gentlemen. Something to drink? The familiar one looked at Marcus. Really looked at him. Eye contact that lasted a beat too long. Bourbon? Neat. And for you, sir. Vodka. Rocks. Marcus walked away. Heart pounding. That look, that pause, recognition, suspicion. He prepared their drinks, hands trembling slightly, brought them to the table. Your drinks. Are you ready to order? They ordered. Marcus took notes. Walked to the kitchen. He needed to call Reynolds, but he couldn't leave during service. Too obvious. He served their dinner, checked on them periodically, professional, normal. But the familiar one kept watching him. Not obviously, just aware, tracking his movements. They knew something, or suspected something. They finished their meal, requested the check. Marcus brought it. The familiar one paid. Cash. But this time, no tip, just exact amount. Deliberate. A message. As they stood to leave, the familiar one paused beside Marcus. Spoke quietly, accented English. You're very attentive, excellent service. Thank you, sir. You pay attention to details. Marcus's mouth went dry. I try to take care of my guests. I'm sure you do. They left. Marcus stood frozen, then went to the office. Called Reynolds. They know, or they suspect. One of them said, I pay attention to details. It was a warning. What exactly did he say? Reynolds was quiet for a moment. Could be nothing. Could be testing you. Stay calm. Continue normal routine. But be very careful. Should I stop watching? No. We're almost there. We've identified 6 of the men you've described. All have connections to Czech or Soviet intelligence. We're building toward arrests. Just a little longer. What if they know I understand Czech? They won't act in a public restaurant. Too risky. Too visible. Just be the professional waiter. Nothing changes. Went home, barely slept. The next week was tense. Every shift felt like waiting for something to happen, but nothing did. The men stopped coming. Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. No familiar faces. No window booth requests. Marcus reported this to Reynolds. Complete stop. Nobody has come for 8 days. We noticed. We think they've shifted locations, changed their meeting point. Routine security procedure. Because of me? Possibly. Or just standard protocol. They rotate regularly to avoid patterns. So it's finished? Almost. We need one final thing from you. Reynolds arranged a meeting. FBI office, conference room. Marcus came in on his day off. Reynolds was there, 2 other agents. Photographs spread on the table. We need you to identify everyone you saw. From these photos, 30 faces, surveillance shots, official photos. Some grainy, some clear. Marcus went through them carefully, pointed out 11 faces. These ones. I'm certain, cross-referenced. All confirmed intelligence operatives, Reynolds said. Most have diplomatic cover. Your identifications help us establish the network. Confirm their activities. What happens to them? Some will be expelled, declared persona non grata. Others will continue disrupting their operations. And me, you go back to your life. Your involvement stays classified for your safety. If you're still watching, type window booth in the comments. Let me know you're here. Marcus left the FBI office, took the L home, tried to process it all. A broken plate, an overheard conversation, 2 months of careful watching, and now apparently he'd helped expose a Soviet intelligence network. A waiter from Prague, a refugee. Someone who just happened to understand Czech. Life went back to normal. Marcus worked his shifts, served his tables, earned his tips, but everything felt different now. He looked at guests differently, wondered about their conversations, their purposes. The Gibson house felt different, less innocent, a place where shadow wars were fought over prime rib and bourbon. 3 weeks later, small article in the Chicago Tribune, page 6. 5 foreign nationals expelled, espionage activities. No names, no details, just a brief notice. Marcus read it twice, folded the paper. He knew that was part of what he'd contributed to, his observations, his reports, his willingness to act. His name would never appear. His role would never be public. He was invisible, anonymous, just a waiter who understood Czech. But he'd done something that mattered. Marcus continued at the Gibson house for another 12 years, became assistant manager, then general manager. He never told anyone, not colleagues, not friends, not even the woman he married in 1982. It remained classified, secret, buried. But sometimes late at night, after closing, Marcus would stand in the empty dining room, looking at the window booths, remembering the broken plate, the overheard conversation, the decision to call the FBI, remembering that ordinary people can do extraordinary things, that paying attention matters, that language matters, that courage matters. The Cold War wasn't just fought by spies and soldiers, it was fought by waiters and teachers and anyone who noticed something wrong and chose to act. Marcus Webb was one of them, a refugee from Prague, a waiter in Chicago, someone who understood Czech, someone who trusted his instincts, someone who helped protect his adopted country. No medals, no public recognition, no acknowledgement, just the quiet knowledge that he'd done the right thing, made a difference. That 40 seconds of overhearing a conversation about blueprints in Moscow had helped dismantle a network. The men at Table 9 that March night in 1978 assumed privacy through language. They assumed the waiter was just background, irrelevant, furniture. They were wrong, and that mistake cost them their operation, their network, their access, because someone was listening. Someone understood, someone cared enough to act. That's the lesson, the real story. Not about spies and tradecraft, but about waiters and broken plates and the decision to speak up when something feels wrong. The story of Marcus Webb, who served prime rib and bourbon, who overheard a conversation, who changed everything, one broken plate at a time. And here we come to the end of another story. Leave a like, and tell me in the comments where you're from. Sometimes I read these stories to my granddaughter before bed. She always asks me if they're real. I answer that they're possible. If you want to have these stories in your hands, I've compiled some of them into a book. It's there, in the link pinned in the comments. If you want, my nephew Daniel has been helping me with the recordings. He insists that I share these stories with the world. He says they can't just stay in my memory. If you want to follow me through these stories, subscribe to the channel, and this is my contribution.